Let's talk about our lower backs, lumbar spine. So I see a lot of people have lumbar spine problems and they're talking about it when using Total Gym. So let's just talk about it and do everything that's good for it and understand why. So your lower back, normally you're going to have either down here or down here. Often it's left, but it's not the left fault, it's the right's fault. So QLs come from about here and they attach under here. And if your butt muscles on that side aren't working, then guess what happens? These guys do all the work. And if these guys, your TVA, are doing nothing either, then these guys are picking up your abs work. So they have to then pick up slack here and slack here. And it's not that your back is out or you've got a back problem. You've got a functional problem with imbalanced muscles. So how do we get around that? So we can do everything on Total Gym, but just to give you a quick what you should be thinking about. You want to release these guys, whichever one is giving you jip, and there's different reasons why you get left and right. Left is normally weak, tight because of the left glute being weak, and right is normally sore because you do everything with right side. You get out of your car, you get out of your chair right side. So this guy gets a lot more work. So there's different reasons for it. But the rule of thumb is we want to release the QLs and then we want to strengthen the glute med. So the glute med is on the side. This is glute max. Glute med is normally a little bit lazy. So we have to turn them on. How do we do that? Single leg work, even standing on the leg that's giving you jip. And that way, if this guy doesn't turn on, you fall over. Boom. So you can turn it on just by standing on one leg. You can do lots of stuff doing this, just keeping it in your head. So how can we do it on Total Gym? So first of all, we want to release. Now, if you don't have time to come on here, then I'm going to put another video about how to just do lower back off the Total Gym. But you can start, if it's right tighty, the best way to do this is just to take the right arm over and come back. And if you want to increase that, you take the right leg back and you turn the heel out, put your hand on the left hip and reach across right side. You're going to feel that in all the places you need to feel it. But look at my foot at the back. I call it the geek foot. So we put it there. And if it's left side, same deal. So left side, you reach up. Now, no floppy arms. We reach up and over and down the other leg. And you want to hold this or do it about 10 times. And if we want to increase it, we just take that left foot back, turn the foot out like a geek, right hand on the hip and reach across the left side. Beautiful. Come back in. Let's apply what I've just said on the Total Gym. Release QLs, strengthen glute med, and strengthen TVA. So that's all we're going to do, okay? So this is for you guys with that sore lower back, lazy abs, and can't stand on one leg. Let's go. So we're going to sit at the bottom, breath in, bottom at the bottom. And the first thing we're going to do is just lie our way down onto the glide board and we're going to release the hip flexors. Why? Because the hip flexors will always be tight when you don't have good abs or a glute because they're going to come and help the back. So if you've got tight hip flexors, you are always going to have a sore lower back because the psoas muscle goes around your hip and goes all the way through to the lower back. So if this guy is tight, it's pulling the lower back into the wrong position. So let's open them up. You grab the right ankle and you just pull back. Now to increase that so that we can go down the other side, drop into the left heel and take your left arm up. There's two things we're doing here. We're stretching out the left side through the whole fascia and right into the QL. And on the right side, we're really focusing on the hip flexors. So notice whether you're tight in the hip flexor or you're tight in the quad. If you're tight in the quad, not so much hip flexor, then you need to get your knuckles into the quad or stick, put on some deep heap, or I use ice blue, but you want to focus on the bit that is the tightest. Believe me, guys, it'll save you so much money in physios and massage. So pulling back, you want to hold for a couple of minutes, which we're not going to do today. So you pull that back and you keep pulling it back. And if you want to increase that, and you can, all you do is slide down. Now, some people cannot do that. Those people are the people that always have a sore lower back. So you work up to it because it will happen. And when you come out of it, you always open the board. Don't try and switch over down here. It's how you can cause an injury. So you push back out of the left leg and you come down and move over to the left side. Keep the right foot on, grab the left ankle and slide it back. Right arm comes up. Remember, you want to hold this one, but I'm not going to hold it for the sake of the video and content. So you can just push pause if you're watching me. Or just work up to a bit more. Some people are so tight, they find this really unbearable. But they've always been my clients with sore backs. And then we slide down if your body allows you to. If you have any knee pathology or recently had a knee surgery, don't do it. Don't come down because it's not worth you risking. You shouldn't be going past 90 degrees with that knee. So just bear in mind. Always get some nice oxygen in when you're stretching because the oxygen helps to release muscle. And be aware that often when we're in pain, we hold our breath. So you have to really consciously breathe into it. Beautiful. And come back out of it. So remember what I said, releasing the QLs and strengthening glutes and abdominals. So arms come over nice and long, stretching. So you want to get the length in your body too. So compression on your lower back from sitting, slouching, and not having long muscles down your spine is also another reason. So whenever you can, I want you just to lengthen out. Grab your left wrist and pull over to the right. Grab your right wrist and pull to the left. Back into your center and reach nice and long again. And of course we can do this on the decline if you have a foot holder, which I often do. And decompression lying down decline is actually more superior to this one. Breath in, lift your arms, bend your knees whenever you come up, especially you sore back people. You want to pull into your tummy and use your abdominals to come up. Now I do have people that say they can't do that. If that's the case, then just come onto your side and come up. Okay, so if your back is that sore, just go onto your side. Once you're up there, then we're going to come into our C curve so that we start using our TVA. Now, essential to breathe out to use these muscles. Why? Stick your fingers inside your hip bones. Do nothing, just stick them in, and you'll feel nothing. Okay, so that's like not breathing. So now breathe in your nose. Breathe out your mouth hard. These guys tense up. Those guys support your lower back. So we want to be using them, don't we? Okay, guys, so let's get busy. Breath in, tuck in and just roll down, kiss your lower back. Breathe out, come back up. Breath in, tuck in, roll down. Exhale, breathe out. Now, I'm not holding my hands together. I'm just pretending I'm holding a big beach ball. And I have zipped up my tummy. And I'm rounding my back into what we call a C curve. Press down your lower back. Exhale, come back up. Breath in, roll down. And exhale, breathe out, come back up. Breath in, roll down. Exhale, breathe out. And one more breath in and roll back down. And exhale, breathe back out. Close the glide board. Now, depending on who you are, I'm going to take it up a bit more, because if you've got a sore lower back, it's better to have as much incline as possible when you're coming into rest position. You want to take your knees out nice and wide on the glide board and your feet in. Pull up in your tummy first and round out all the muscles and all the vertebrae in your back. Then keeping that on, just rock back, keeping your arms holding on to the top, and sit back down. Again, if you have problems with your knees, put your cushion underneath your knees so that you have something to sit on. Now, to get deep into the QL, all we do is put our right hand in the middle, a left hand underneath, and rotate, look under the right armpit. Just be comfortable being uncomfortable and know it's all worth it. Back in center, take your right arm under your left and rotate, look under your armpit. And just remember that little saying, like, no pain, no gain, stay the same. So if you do nothing, it's the worst thing you can do with a lower back pathology, because it's normally weakness and imbalance in other muscles. I would say 80% of my clientele has sore lower back or thoracic spine. Back into your center and just notice how it's starting to respond to you. Now, pulling up in your tummy to come up. So we never come up with our back, we always come up through our tummy. Roll back up and go into your cat and cow. And lifting up, rotate and arch. Thinking of just moving up your spine and down your spine. All the way through. And coming back up. And coming back through. Beautiful. One more time. And coming back through. Right. Now, the other thing I did not mention, which is so important, is better butt, better back. So we're going to do, remember this single leg work. So doing bilateral squats isn't going to improve your back. Doing unilateral squats, which just means doing one at a time, with your foot straight. Notice if your foot starts to want to go sideways. That is an indicator of no glute medius. So if you're walking and your feet turn out, you need to correct that. You really need to correct that. And I'll show you something at the end of this video to do in the shower. Okay, so hang around till the end. So it's going to roll our way back down. Put your left leg in line with your left hip. Really important not to be in the midline. In line with the left hip. Then only the glute medius can do the work. Zip the tummy up again and take the right knee in. You can hold it if you want to. If it keeps slipping away from you, that's another sign of weak lower abdominals and tight back. So you can hold it in. Tuck your chin in and exhale, come down into that left leg. Now you can start low, or if you feel, it depends on how much you weigh, how much pain you're in, and how bad your habits are. So when you look down, your knee should be going through your foot, and your foot must remain straight. The moment it turns out laterally, your glute medius is turned off, and you're starting to use QL and hip flexors. So it's super, super important to be aware of what's happening in your foot. Please do with no shoe. Okay, because how can you know? So when we're doing pathology and physio, we really want to know what's happening in the feet. Okay, come on down. Again, if you have a knee problem, don't go past 90 degrees. Now consciously squeeze through the buttock. Now what I'm going to do to increase the glute work is pulse for 3. So down and 1, 2, 3, push back. Come on down and 1, 2, 3, push back. Come on down and 1, 2, 3, push back. And one more. And I can really feel my glute med working now. And come back down. Beautiful. I'm going to change now with the right foot. I'm going to check it's in line with my hip. Bring the left one back in. Chin down. Exhale, come down. And push back. Exhale, push down. And come back. Exhale down. And come back. So my right one is way more functional than my left. So he's feeling really balanced. Grip the tummy. I'm going to try and turn him on a bit more, like a handbrake in my buttock. Check your foot's not turning out. You may find people with a sore back, your foot slowly goes sideways. Pull them back in. Okay, grip the tummy. Remember, every repetition is the mother of skill or the mother of injury. Okay, we're going to come down for 3 pulses. Drop it down and 1, 2, 3, push. Come on down and 1, 2, 3, push. Come on down and 1, 2, 3, push. Come on down and 1, 2, 3, push. And again, a 1, 2, 3, and push. Nice work, guys. Come back onto your toes and just heel toe through your feet. Just stretch out the calves. Now you'll notice I'm lifting my head, but I'm not lifting my head with my neck. I'm holding with my abdominals. So I've moved my rib cage down, zipped my tummy on, and making these guys do the work. If yours aren't strong enough, put your head down or cradle your head with your hands, which means rest your head in your hands as you contract through the abdominals. We're going to take this into some shoulder bridges, which is all about the butt. Guys, please make sure the feet are in line with the hips. When you have your feet together, that causes a Trendelenburg, which puts a whole lot more strain on your lower back. So feet together is the worst thing you can do, okay? And I see some people doing it and it's like, no, feet apart. Okay, so feet in line with hips so that you get your glute medius and minimus. Come back down, drop. Put your hands at the bottom. Again, chin down, ribs down, zip the tummy. Now pretend like the glide board is hot and squeeze your bum. So you got everything on before you go. Now some people find that their back really hurts to come off. Here's the trick. Lift your head first, which will stop the lower back. Then roll up and let the head come down when you get to the top. And open the glide board. Dive in the belly and roll your way back down. Close the glide board. Remember, lift your head, pull into the belly, exhale, roll back up, and open the glide board. Squeeze in the buttock muscles, dive in your belly, roll back down. If you want to, you can just do the roll up and downs without the hamstring curl. Head lift. Now remember, you're only lifting the head if you've got a really tight lower back. That'll stop you from getting pain in the lower back coming up. So I'm going to keep my head down now because I don't need to lift it. And I'm just going to focus on my glute muscles and come back in. Now we also want to have a good medial system, which is your adductors, because they work with your lower abdominals, and a lot of people don't know that. So we want to keep them working. So roll up and tap for 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Dive in, roll your way back down. Feet straight. Tuck in, roll your way back up. Tap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Tuck in and roll your way back down. Good. Dive in, tuck and roll your way back up. Tap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Tuck and roll your way down. Going to really be filling your glutes now. Tuck in, peel and roll your way back up. And tap. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Tuck and roll down. Now remember, unilateral work now. Point. I'm just going to lift up for 5 on the left, making sure my left foot doesn't turn out. Work up to the top range. You may find you can only do 1 or 2. I'm just going to do 5 on each. You can choose and just work up to it. So right foot on in line with my hip. Left, tuck in and roll your way back up. Come back down. Exhale, roll back up and come back down. Roll back up. Really pushing out of my buttock, and you'll see my right foot is flexed. And one more time. Beautiful. Now we want to release as well. Press back. So here I want you to arch your back, flatten your back. Arch your back, flatten your back. Arch your back and flatten your back. Arch and flatten. Now take your left foot over your right knee. Come down just as far as you can go and push it open. Press back and right over your left and come back down. Push open on the right. And come back in. Beautiful. Arms come over, big long stretch again. Hold, grab that left wrist and pull over. Grab your right wrist and pull. Soften your knees, lift your head, roll up, make sure your bottom's on the bottom, and just reach where you're comfortable. If that's it, that's it. If you can, come further and roll forward. Roll your way back up. Shut the glide board. Now I want you to come onto your left knee. Put your right foot down beside the base. And I want you to tuck into the tummy, no gripping with your hands on the toe bar, and exhale, open the left knee and go into a hip flexor stretch on the left and a hamstring stretch on the right. Keep your chest lifted. You don't want to be hanging your head down. And if that's feeling really tight, then just encourage it by 1 to 3 opening out, each time a little further. And you don't want to rush the stretch. And exhale, come back out. Nice. Beautiful. Hand come back in. Right knee on. Left foot down on the base. And exhale, open back out. Right knee goes back. Opening the hip flexor again. Opening the hamstring. And lift your toes on the right side. Oh, sorry, the left side. And inhale, come back in. Exhale out. You'll notice I'm never gripping with my hands because I don't want my upper traps coming on. Because the other pathology I see all the time is upper trap and shoulder pathologies. And often from over gripping, overusing upper traps. Beautiful. Now, final one I want you to do is just to turn around and sit at the base of your toe bar. Put your feet into the base. Tuck into your belly. Hands go onto the glide board. Just reach out and arch your back. Make sure your heels are on the base. And then tuck into the tummy and exhale. Push back into a down dog. Inhale, come forward and arch your lower back. And exhale, down dog. Breath in and arch your lower back. And come back. Now you should be feeling a lot of things are starting to respond. Starting to feel tighter where you should in your butt and your glute med, a few abs, lower abs, and your hamstrings and your hip flexors are starting to let go. And I want you to finish in our beautiful child pose or rest position. Take some deep breaths here and keep pulling up on the tummy to round out the QLs. Go ahead and roll your way back up and turn onto your side. And it's time for me to say goodbye. And I hope that you get a lot out of this. Now, I promised you the shower stretch. So if you walk with your feet out, or you know someone walking with their feet out, and they're always saying they've got a sore low back, simple correction, guys. You want to get the feet straight, but how do you do that? Because the habit's here. Whenever you think about it, stand like a complete nerd in the shower, whenever you can think about it, whenever you're seated, because you want to lengthen out the IT bands and all the tendons around the ankles. You want to get these guys longer and these guys stronger. Okay, so it's a simple thing to do. So just try and remember that. I used to have a son that walked like that, and he always had a knee and a hip problem and a back problem. He's now a top rugby player, and I made him walk home, all the way home like this. It was a game. And he has corrected it. So team, just remember that turn in. If you've got one foot, just do one. If it's both, do both. It's going to save you a lot of knee, hip, and ankle problems. With that said, time for me to go. Namaste. Please subscribe and shoot any questions down below, or anything you'd want to know about the body, about Total Gym, and I'll make a video for you.